Do you have a local business or you're simply looking to collect leads with promoted pins? Well, you're definitely at the right place. Hello, my name is Adriana. Welcome. I help Shopify e-commerce businesses and influencers drive traffic and sales utilizing Pinterest with my Pinterest marketing agency, Kordial Media. In today's video, I'm going to teach you exactly how I have gone ahead and set up lead generation campaigns for local businesses and services on Pinterest with promoted pins in order for our clients to get the best results possible and maximize their CPA per lead as well. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button and to hit the bell to be notified every single time I post a new video here on the Kordial Media YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's dive into the video. Okay, so when it comes to setting up lead campaigns, the first thing that you want to make sure you have is your tag is firing properly. And so if you don't know how to set up your Pinterest tag and your event codes, you can check out my video in the description box below on how to do that. Essentially, if your tag is not firing properly, then it will not collect any leads at all. And so your marketing dollars are going to go to waste. And so you want to make sure that you're setting up the page visit. Obviously, so first the Pinterest tag across your entire website has to be set up. Then you will need to set up the page visit event code as well on your entire website. Next, you want to add the lead event code or the sign up event code, that's up to you, on the landing page that occurs once somebody has become a lead for you. So for example, if you have a form that you want people to fill out, the thank you page or the redirect page once that form has been filled out should be where the lead event code is installed. And then if you have, another step in your funnel, then the second step should be where, for example, the add to cart event code gets added. And then if you have a third step in your funnel, that's where you can add the checkout event code. Now, even though maybe you're not actually getting specific add to carts or checkouts as a business, those event codes firing will still be representative of which step those leads are in your funnel. So it's really important that you not only set up your event codes properly, but that they're also firing properly. And for you to check that they're firing properly, you want to go ahead and go through the entire funnel, wait a day, and look back on your conversion tab on Pinterest to see whether or not those event codes have been triggered. That's really the best way to test whether or not your leads are being collected properly. Second thing you want to do, I'm going to walk you through how we set up campaigns for this one client. This client has multiple local businesses across the United States, so they have multiple locations. We went ahead and we selected one campaign per location. So that's what you want to do. Ideally, you're running conversion campaigns, especially if you have enough leads coming in already in your business. Conversion campaigns, like going for conversion campaigns right away, is the way to go. If you see that you don't have that many leads coming into your business and you're kind of just starting out, then go ahead and set up consideration campaigns in the same way, just through consideration. For this one client, we set up one conversion campaign per location, and we were really mindful of the interest, the keywords, and the audience size for each location. Just to give you an idea, in the last 30 days for this client, we have collected 319 leads, and it's at around a $17 CPA per lead. That's a really healthy number. That's something that's very realistic for getting leads through the door on Pinterest. You might be able to get leads cheaper elsewhere. You might be able to get leads the cheapest on Pinterest. It depends on your business, your service, and the amount of campaigns that you're running, essentially, as well as your daily budget. At the end of the day, this is a really good and healthy account. This is leads that are coming in consistently, that are reliable, and that are being closed on the back end, which means they're also qualified leads, which is very important to keep in mind as well. So I'm going to walk you through how we set up one of these campaigns, because it was the exact same thing that we did across all the other campaigns, depending on the region, like just altering the region essentially. So every campaign is its own region. We went ahead and we created a conversion campaign with one ad group per campaign, and each ad group had 4 creatives, which we're going to talk about in terms of strategy after. Daily budget per campaign was $20 a day to start, which is, reasonable. It's not too much, but it's also not too little. So $20 a day to start. First thing that we selected really were the locations. So let's say your location is in Fort Lauderdale, let's say, for example. and you want to get people to Fort Lauderdale. On Pinterest, you need an audience size of a minimum of 2 million up until, 56 million in order for the algorithm to find your audience. And so we didn't go ahead and select the postal code or the zip code of that region because it would be too narrow. We would have gone ahead and selected metros around Fort Lauderdale, including Fort Lauderdale, or we would have gone ahead and selected all of Florida. If you're selecting all of Florida, on Pinterest, they actually have Florida listed as Miami, Fort Lauderdale, not Florida, sorry. For Fort Lauderdale, they have it listed as Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So it's considered a metro on here, and the audience size of that alone is 1.67 million, which is not bad. So, you're hitting the entire city, and like you're also considering people would go ahead and drive over from, wherever they live, if it's not too far, and the audience size is like big enough. And so it would be in that case worth targeting just Miami, Fort Lauderdale. But let's say that had been like, 500,000, for example, potential audience size, then maybe we would have gone ahead and selected the entirety of Florida, which yes, is very big, but I'll tell you how to like mitigate that when it comes to creatives. All of Florida would be considered a region, by the way. So I would have gone ahead and selected Miami, Fort Lauderdale, just because it's smaller audience size, but still big enough to target the right audience. So the next thing that we did is we went ahead and we added a list of keywords up to, between 25 keywords up to like 100 keywords you can do. But because we're adding interest as well, the keywords will not be the focus. The keywords will only be there to help guide the campaign. They won't necessarily be there to, be the focus of driving conversions. That being said, they might drive conversions, and that's why we give the campaign the option between the keywords and the interest. So you want to add in a list of relevant keywords to your business. Do your Pinterest keyword research. If you don't know how to do that, I will post my video on how to do that in the description box below. But essentially adding in those relevant keywords to your business, to your service is super key. You don't have to add any keywords that are, a location focus. You can, however, you can test that out, but it's not necessary. The most important part here, other than selecting the right region, of course, or metro, is selecting the right interests. And you want to, again, select interests that will help broaden your audience size, not make it smaller. So depending on the audience size of your location, you want to select either level 1 interests or level 2 interests. Some level 1 interests or even level 2 interests might actually shorten your audience size, and so you want to maybe select quite a few. The thing is that the campaign needs some guidance in terms of what your audience is interested in and how your service ties into that. And so if, for example, you are a florist in Fort Lauderdale and you're looking to get leads, then you would have to choose interests that are related to flowers, gardening, home decor, maybe event planning. Those would be a few interests that you can select. And the thing is that I can't give you a number of interests to select. You have to see how big your audience size is and how many interests are needed. Of course, I really would not exceed more than 15 interests, maybe even up to 20 interests. That's really a lot, but you could get away with it. Definitely, I wouldn't exceed that though. But ideally, you would be around, between 3 and 8 interests to start. And then as your campaign evolves, you can then go ahead and archive all the interests that are not getting you any leads. If I see that the algorithm's having trouble over the next couple weeks getting those leads, then maybe I would remove some interest or add in more depending on what the data is saying. So you've got your interests, you've got your keywords, you've got your location selected. For placement, you just want to keep it on all as recommended. And then for the conversion event, you want to select either lead or sign up depending on what event code you put on your website. Lastly, you want to select automatic bidding. Now, when it comes to creatives, the way that we set it up for this client is that we had 4 video creatives per ad group per region. And we actually used the same creatives across all the regions, except the only difference that we did was we shouted out, we wrote on the creative itself, we specified the location of where, the service would be. So for example, as a Fort Lauderdale florist, I would write on the creative, like right at the beginning, something like, hey, Fort Lauderdale residents, and just switch out that on all of your creatives based on the location that you're advertising to in each campaign. So your one campaign would be for Fort Lauderdale, with that, you know, shouting out Fort Lauderdale resident. Another one could be shouting out like Austin, Texas residents if you have a florist location in Austin, Texas, for example. And so you would go ahead and just design all your creatives like that for all of your campaigns. Again, I mentioned 4 creatives. We did video and we shouted out the location on the video. You could do static images. You don't have to do video, but if you have really engaging, beautiful videos, especially as a florist, if you do have videos showcasing your beautiful flowers or how you design flower bouquets and things like that, then that could definitely help your conversions and help you get more leads through the door. Once that's all set up, we launched and we let it run for 2 weeks. And our goal was over the next 4 weeks to get CPA toward like closer to goal. And then eventually the goal after that was obviously to increase the volume of leads. Just to give you reference, this client that we did this for, who I told you at the beginning had 319 leads in the last 30 days at a $17 cost per lead. We are running 9 campaigns for this client at once, targeting different locations. And let me tell you that some locations are a lot more expensive than others. And so if you do have multiple locations, launching, you know, one campaign for each at $20 a day is a good way for you to see which locations cost more to get leads and which cost less. And then, you know, if you only have a certain amount of budget, maybe you would not advertise to certain locations and you would advertise more to others. So that's a strategy thing for you to do. In our case, we are choosing to keep the more expensive locations going because the client wants leads coming in through the door, even if they're more expensive. But nonetheless, it's like really good data to collect. We've noticed that in this client's case, you know, some locations are less expensive than others, but that doesn't seem to be affecting the number of leads that are coming in nonetheless. It's just that some are more expensive, that's all. Something to keep in mind there. So after the 2-week period, you want to start in optimizing your campaigns. Obviously, if you don't know how to optimize your campaigns, make sure to check out my video and my free guide in the description box below. I have a full cheat sheet code for you to download on how to optimize your campaigns. I also do have a YouTube video on it, which I will link down there as well. If you'd like an expert like myself to take a look at your campaigns, feel free to book a meeting with me. It's totally free. You and I just chat about your Pinterest account and we see if we're a good fit to work together. If you have a question about anything that I mentioned in the video, feel free to write it in the comment box below as well. On that note, I'm gonna wish you a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.